In the field of management, strategic management involves the formulation and implementation of the major goals and initiatives taken by an organization's manager on behalf of stakeholders based on consideration of resources and an assessment of the internal and external environments in which the organization operates. Hello everyone. Today, as part of our strategy management group project, me with my group members Arja, Abhinav, Abhishek, Divyansh, Nishi, and Sanjit are going to give a small presentation on one such aspect on the FMCG industry and will discuss two of its big companies. Through this presentation, we are going to walk you through the industry analysis and will throw some light on growth, profitability, corporate strategy, and success stories of its two major players that are HUL and ITC. In the end, we would also brief you about the way forward FMCG would be adopting. Starting with the introduction of the FMCG sector, the fast moving consumer goods sector is the fourth largest sector in the Indian economy. It is characterized by high turnover consumer packaged goods, that is, goods that are produced, distributed, marketed, and consumed within a short span of time. FMCG products that dominate the market today are detergents, toiletries, truth cleaning products, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, consumer electronics, soft drinks, and chocolates. Since the sector encompasses a diverse range of products, different companies dominate the market in various subsectors. Moving towards the value chain. The imperative of e-commerce drive consumer goods companies towards what is a connected value chain. The speed at which demands get sensed, acknowledged to fulfillment from the distribution centers and delivered at the doorstep of consumers will largely define the success of the consumer good companies. As seen in the connected value chain, enables identification and fulfillment of consumer needs at a personal or one-to-one through a digital channel that includes smart devices, real-time insights and analytics, and most importantly, seamless integration of supply chain solutions. An end-to-end planning transformation in consumer packaged goods encompasses five main areas: end-to-end visibility and control, no-touch order management, automated end-to-end planning, integrated business planning, creating a better demand signal. Moving forward, let's analyze the FMCG industry through two different frameworks for industry analysis, which are Porter's and Pestle.
I will be talking about the Pestle framework of the FMCG industry. After experiencing a decline in growth, the FMCG sector is again looking bright. It is the fourth largest sector of the Indian economy with a huge market share. The introduction of sachet packs has increased the penetration of products in the market as lower income people started using the products. Also, the middle class is growing rapidly in India. Starting with the political factors, taxation policies and subsidies have a direct impact on the price of inputs and also the final prices. The introduction of production linked schemes has proved beneficial for the food processing industry as it has led to an increase in investments. The updated labor laws and trade regulations have increased the level of attention these firms have to pay. Next is economic factors. The sector witnessed a healthy FDI inflow of US dollars 18.59 billion from April 2020 to June 2021. FMCG now looks to sustain about 7% volume growth and 5% realization growth consistently year on year. Due to the pandemic, the inflation rates have gone up and directly affected the purchasing power, that is, the pockets of the consumers. Talking about the social factors, India is a country which caters to a plethora of cultures and traditions, and due to this, society's lifestyle changes more rapidly. A huge population base of an eclectic mix and dynamic tastes, along with the demographics like age, gender, etc., determine spending patterns. Increasing consumerism allows consumers to have more options to choose from. Next, we will talk about the technological factors. The technology part comes easy to this sector as the manufacturing setup requires those kinds of products which are not high tech as other industries, plus it can be outsourced through a third party contract, which is very common in the industry. The contribution of e-commerce to FMCG sales currently stands a little more than 1%, expected to rise to 11% by 2030. Now talking about the environmental factors, due to the rise in demand and paucity of available resources, there is an urgent need to focus on sustainability and zero carbon footprint. The contribution of e-commerce to FMCG sales currently stands a little over 1%, expected to rise by 11%. Also, global warming, extreme weather conditions, and so on are a major concern to the operations of the manufacturing units of the industry. The environmental regulations, such as the UN 17 Sustainable Development Goals and India's NTC contribution, must be taken up seriously. Talking about the sixth and the last factor, that are the legal ones. The government replaced various indirect taxes imposed on FMCG with a more direct approach, that is GST. This helped in lowering prices as all the taxes imposed increase the cost of production and the producer passes it on to the customer. The we cannot underpay the agriculture sector for profit maximization. Also, they cannot fool customers in it. The law forbids the FMCG industry to artificially increase prices by making a product scarce. Next slide. Now I'll be talking about the Potter's Five Forces model. The industry competition is quite high with more MNCs entering the country. The industry is highly fragmented. These firms' advertising expenditures continue to grow and marketing budgets along with the strategies are becoming more aggressive. The availability of large number of alternatives available makes it easier to switch from one competition, making the higher competition in the industry. There is a moderate risk for the threat of new entrants due to well established players like ITC, HUL, Patanjali in the market who have integrated business models and a great amount of money invested. Huge investments in setting up distribution networks and promoting brands and competition established companies. There is a high threat of substitutes as FMCG goods are an essential commodity. The demand for consumer products is elastic. Multiple brands are positioned with narrow product differentiation, and the companies entering a category are trying to gain market share, compete on pricing, which increases product substitution. Due to the high rate of product substitution, the bargaining power of buyers is high. The low switching costs and aggressive selling strategies under intense competition induce switching between products, thereby driving value for money deals for consumers. Next, the suppliers have low bargaining power because prices are generally governed by international commodity markets, making most FMCG companies price takers. Also, due to long-term relationships with the suppliers, FMCG industries negotiate better rates during the time of high input cost inflation. Further, you'll get to know about HUL and how it grew in the FMCG sector.
Beginning with a brief introduction about HUL, it is a subsidiary of Unilever, which is one of the world's leading suppliers of food, home care, and personal care products. In India, HUL boasts an 85-year heritage and is the largest FMCG company. Having its presence in over 20 consumer categories, it has got 50 plus brands. Moving on to strategic timeline of HUL since its inception in India, it merged three of its Indian subsidiaries to form a single unit and offered 10% of its equity to the Indian public. Surf was brought to India by HUL to diversify HUL's product range in 1959 with an aim to become the one-stop shop for people seeking solutions for laundry issues. Brew Instant Coffee was launched in 1968 and was India's first coffee chicory mixed instant coffee. In the same decade, Rin detergent was also launched. During 1970s, HUL acquired a number of firms which include Lipton Tea, Fair & Lovely and Clinic Plus to gain a foothold in the FMCG industry. During 1980s, HUL acquired Brooke Ponds and Tata Oil Mills Company. Two plantation companies of HUL formed an alliance with Brooke Bond and Lipton Tea, which was named BBLIL, a classic case of backward integration. Then BBLIL formed an alliance with Quality Ice Cream Group families. With the onset of new millennium, Government of India awarded 74% equity in Modern Foods to HUL. In the next year, HUL launched Project Shakti in order to nurture in women an entrepreneurial mindset and to make them financially independent. Around the same time, HLL was named to HUL. HUL continued its legacy of integration when it began sourcing its raw materials from farmers for its Kisan brand. In 2010, Hindustan Unilever Foundation was set up to support solutions that can help address India's water challenges. And under the same initiative, it launched Purit and stepped into manual fill water purifier segment. In 2015, HUL signed an agreement with popular hair care brand Indulekha. Recently, in 2020, it merged with GSK Consumer Healthcare in order to strengthen its market in food and refreshment segment. In the next slide, we'll be talking about another popular FMCG company, ITC.
Now, I'm going to talk about a 100-year-old tobacco-based organization that I'm sure all of us are aware of, ITC Limited. ITC was incorporated on 24th August 1910 under the name Imperial Tobacco Company of India Limited, which was later renamed to ITC Limited in 2001. ITC is one of India's foremost private sector companies and a diversified conglomerate with business spanning across FMCG, hotels, paperboards and packaging, agribusiness, and information technology. It has transformed into an environment, social, and economic sustainable company, becoming a morning to night brand, that is, a 24-hour need consumer brand by laying down products that can be used all day, every day. Talking further about the strategic timeline of the company, ITC as a brand has grown quite tremendously. In 1913, ITC's first factory was set up in Bangalore. About a decade later, they started their own packaging and printing business, which was also the first non-tobacco business of the company. In 1974, ITC started acquiring hotels and diversified its ITC portfolio under the Welcome Group in the hospitality sector by buying its first hotel in Chennai. A few years later, in 1979, ITC ventured into the paperboards business. Further extending its arms in 1990, ITC's agri-business started with the eChaupal initiative. A decade later, in 2002, ITC entered the stationery and other lifestyle commodities segment with Papercraft and Classmate, diversifying extensively. It also entered the textile business with John Player and Will's Lifestyle. ITC also branched out into various food brands like Candyman, Ashirwad, Yippee, Dark Fantasy, with its most recent acquisition in 2020 being Sunrise Foods. Currently, its objective is to launch 14 to 15 FMCG products every year.
Talking about the gross revenue, as we can observe from the graph, that both the brands have made a steady rise in the revenues year on year, overlooking some minor hiccups, with an average increase of revenue by about 9% for HUL, and ITC has an average increase in the revenue by about 8.5% year on year. ITC over the years has been able to deliver resilient performances, growing on witnessing a sectoral surge in the sales. On the other hand, HUL, India's largest consumer goods maker over the years, has been able to diversify its market presence with a number of widely used products that have actively contributed to the brand's overall revenue growth. Talking about the profits, the ITC success is because of its deep pockets. For a start, the company has been able to spend a disproportionate amount of money on advertising and promotion expenditure over the last decade. Even though much of the profit comes from cigarettes, ITC has bolstered its title as India's leading marketeer in FMCG businesses. Since foraying into the food business in 2001, it has established over 25 brands, each gaining a significant market standing among Indian consumers. Talking about HUL, the company known for its presence across almost all categories of consumer products, has a variety of products in each of the categories targeted at almost all the consumer segments. It has products in over 20 consumer categories, majorly food and drink, personal care, home care, and water purifier, serving over 700 million customers across the country. That has actively been a key determining factor in the organization's rise in profitability over the years. Talking about the profit margins, as shown in the graph, we can observe that over the years, both the brands, HUL and ITC, have been able to bolster their position in the market with an average profit margin of 24.2% for ITC and 14.8% for HUL over the years, owing to their respective diversified product availability in the market across different sectors and market segmentation.
HUL and ITC are two very successful companies as we have discussed so far. But there are always reasons behind a company's success. I will now be talking about those reasons for both the companies before we move on to their corporate strategies. Firstly, let's see HUL, which is one of India's largest exporters and has been recognized by the Government of India as a Golden Superstar Trading House. The success story of HUL is a collection of both little and major steps taken over the years by the company. One of the reasons for HUL's success are the mergers and acquisitions done by the company, which allows us we call HUL a master of strategic acquisitions and mergers. Some examples of these acquisitions are Lipton in 1972 and Lakme in 1996. In 1993, HUL merged with its largest competitor, Tata Oil Mills Company. It was the biggest such merger in Indian history till that time. Then recently in 2020, HUL also merged with GlaxoSmithKline Consumer Healthcare. Apart from this, HUL has always believed in doing beyond business. This is evident from Project Shakti, which has helped in creating livelihood and growth opportunities for more than 80,000 women in different parts of India. It helps these women in becoming self-sufficient and providing a helping hand in the running of their households. This initiative has bestowed upon HUL the Porter Prize in 2014. Next, let's talk about ITC. When we talk about ITC, we can divide the reasons for its success mainly into 4 points. First point, Indian markets. India is a price-sensitive market. That's why ITC focused on designing and positioning items that are friendly on consumer pocket and could cater to the needs of every single citizen of India. Next point is morning to night brand. This means that ITC has made itself a 24-hour need consumer brand and laid down products to market that could be used from morning to evening on daily purpose. Another reason is moving to welfare business. The goal of the company now seems to evolve from being only a tobacco-centric company towards sustainable development. ITC currently provides livelihood to over 5 million people, and its globally recognized eChopal initiative is the world's largest rural digital infrastructure, benefiting over 4 million farmers. ITC's Watershed Development Initiative brings precious water to more than 69,000 hectares of dry lands and moisture-stressed areas. Last but not the least, falling of tobacco business is also a reason. A 5% drop every year in legal consumption of cigarettes is main reason behind diversification of the company. Although illegal consumption is increasing by approximately 5%, which is affecting legal production of tobacco in India and encouraging the smuggling of cigarettes from outside. As a result, companies like ITC have urged the government to pay attention on the illegal smuggling of cigarettes. So that was about the stories of ITC and HUL. Now let's see the corporate strategies of both these companies.
Corporate strategies of HUL. HUL is focusing on e-commerce and modern trade channels, which is considered as channels of the future. HUL is evolving to adapt to the trends by embedding technology across its end-to-end value chain to build a business which is future fit. They are focusing on building online shelves on the e-commerce platforms with winning point of sale communication. They are digitizing our route to market and having a strong presence in growth channels such as modern trade and e-commerce. They pick up consumer signals real-time through People Data Center, which analyzes consumer sentiments and conversation about their brands and categories. HUL is using its savings to invest in growth areas of the future and in better quality products and brands, and this in turn increases margins. Corporate strategies of ITC. They create multiple drivers of growth by developing a portfolio of world-class businesses that best matches organizational capability with opportunities in domestic and export markets. Continue to focus on the chosen portfolio of FMCG, hotels, paper, paperboards and packaging, agribusiness, and information technology. Benchmark the health of each business comprehensively across the criteria of market standing, profitability, and internal vitality. They ensure that each of its business is world-class and internationally competitive. Enhance the competitive power of the portfolio through synergies derived by blending the diverse skills and capabilities residing in ITC's diverse business and portfolios. They create distributed leadership within the organization by nurturing talent and focused top management teams for each of its businesses. Strategies forward. Growth opportunities for Indian FMCG industry that can be used as strategies going forward are sourcing base. Indian and multinational FMCG players can leverage India as a strategic sourcing hub for cost competitive product development and manufacturing to cater to international markets. Penetration. Low penetration levels offer room for growth across consumption categories. Major players are focusing on rural markets to increase their penetration in those areas. Online FMCG. With a growth rate of 14.7%, the FMCG sector has been projected to grow to a market size of almost $220 billion by 2025. Premium products. With the rise in disposable income, mid and high income consumers in urban areas have shifted their purchase trend from essential to premium products. Premium brands are manufacturing smaller packets of premium products. Example, Dove soap is available in 50-gram packaging. Innovative products. Indian consumers are highly adaptable to new and innovative products. For instance, there has been an easy acceptance of men's fairness cream and beard grooming products, flavored yogurt, Kappa mini noodles, gel-based facial bleach, drinking yogurt, etc. Rural market. Leading players of consumer products have strong distribution network in rural India. They also stand to gain with the contribution of technological advances like internet and e-commerce to better logistics.